Here are the top stories for today, November 5, 2020. Northern Luzon is up in alert for the coming of Siony. Telecommunication services have already been restored in Catanduanes and other typhoon-hit areas. Roads to Albay and Camarines Sur are already passable. And a former child warrior who was raped by NPA leaders asked Liza Soberano and Angel Oxin for help. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story for today, Northern Luzon braces for the coming of severe tropical storm Siony. Siony is expected to make a landfall in the vicinity of Batanes or Babuyan Islands tomorrow morning.
So yung latest satellite imagery natin, mapapansin po natin na ang bagyong si Siony, bagamat yung sentro nito ay malayo pa sa dulong hilagang Luzon, yung makapalaulap na dala nito ay tumatama na nga sa ilang bahagi ng extreme northern Luzon, particular na dito sa may bandang Batanes area. Mayroon po tayo nakataas na warning signal number 2 dito sa may bandang Batanes at Babuyan Island. So bakit sila lang ang meron? Ito po yung tinatansya natin na pinakamalapit sa sentro ng bagyong si Siony, at ito yung areas na inaasahan natin na posibleng makaranas ng mapaminsalang hangin. Aabot ng mula 61 hanggang 120 kilometers per hour yung lakas ng hangin na pwedeng maramdaman sa nabanggit nating lugar. So in terms of weather, inaasahan din natin na magiging masungit ang panahon, katamtaman hanggang sa malalakas sa pag-ulan. Dagdag pa nga dyan yung lakas na hangin na pwedeng makapagpatumba ng mga poste ng ilaw, makasira ng mga bahay na gawa sa lumang kahoy, at makapagpatumba ng mga halaman at puno.
Preparations are already in place in northern Luzon, where severe tropical storm Siony is expected to traverse. In Apayao, personnel of the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council set up their rescue boats in time for Typhoon Siony. These boats are purchased by the provincial government and was just delivered this Tuesday, November 3. Apayao regularly experiences heavy rains that causes flooding, especially in the low-lying towns. In the Cordillera, the Department of Social Welfare and Development has pre-positioned a total of 14,264 family food packs worth 6.6 million pesos, as well as non-food items worth 10 million pesos at the different provinces in the region. A standby fund worth 3.2 million pesos is also available for those who will be affected by Siony. In Laoag City, rice farmers have already secured their harvest in anticipation of the coming tropical storm. Ilocano farmers are thankful for the government support by providing them with rice harvester. This makes their palay harvesting easier, especially during the time of crisis. In related news, troops of the 5th Infantry Division of the Philippine Army are also pre-positioned in Cagayan and Apayao provinces. They are deployed to extend humanitarian assistance for those who might be affected. Telco services are restored in several areas ravaged by Super Typhoon Rolly. In an advisory, Globe Telecom said its network coverage has been fully restored in the National Capital Region, the provinces of Rizal, Batangas, Camarines Norte, Marinduque, Sorsogon, Samar and Western Samar, while its network in Quezon, Laguna and Masbate are nearing full restoration. Call, text, and LTE internet browsing has also been restored in Virac, Catanduanes, while call and text services are restored in San Andres, Catanduanes, and the municipalities of Bonbon, Bula, Cabusao, Calabanga, Del Gallego, and Lupi in Camarines Sur. Meanwhile, Smart Communications said it has already restored its mobile services in Catanduanes yesterday morning. 2 Philippine Air Force aircraft helped transport the equipment of PLDT Smart, as it also sent food packs and tents in Catanduanes. The relief goods are from the Department of Social Welfare and Development and non-government organizations. Relief goods are also sent in Catanduanes via sea travel. The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, sent off its newest multi-role vessel with 65 tons of relief goods to Catanduanes. PCG Commandant Admiral George Orsabia Jr. said BRP Gabriela Silang's journey to Virac, Catanduanes will be followed by more sorties carrying more relief goods and possibly government personnel and those from private organizations. The vessel's cargo includes 3,000 boxes of food packs, almost 4,000 bottles of drinking water, 2,000 boxes of kitchen kits, 1,000 boxes of hygiene kits, 400 gallons of drinking water, 450 sleeping kits, and 450 mosquito nets from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The Philippine Red Cross, or PRC, also loaded 500 pieces of corrugated galvanized iron sheets, personal protective gears, and hygiene kits. All national roads in Albay and Camarines Sur are already passable. This as the Department of Public Works and Highways in the Bicol region worked hand-in-hand with the district engineering offices in the massive clearing operations. The spirit of Bayanihan paved the way in the immediate opening of roads badly hit by Super Typhoon Rolly. DPWH Secretary Mark Villar extends his gratitude to DPWH Sorsogon for the additional manpower and equipment deployed in Albay. Meanwhile, they are looking into augmenting their teams in Catanduanes to expedite the clearing operations on the island. As of this morning, 3 national roads remain impassable to motorists due to fallen trees and electric posts and landslides. DPWH quick response teams are already clearing the Catanduanes Circumferential Road. Malacanang says there is no need to create a task force that would oversee rehabilitation in areas successively hit by typhoons Quinta and Rolly. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said a task force is unnecessary because the president relies heavily on the people on the ground. He said concerned agencies are clearing roads to make them passable, restoring electricity, providing food and water to typhoon-hit residents. He adds that the president was satisfied with typhoon preparedness of both local and national governments, which helped limit casualties and minimize damages. The national government has released a total of 76.2 billion pesos from the Bayanihan to Recover as One or Bayanihan 2 law. The Department of Health received the biggest chunk of the budget at 20.57 billion pesos for funding programs meant to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. Getting the second highest allotment was the Department of Labor and Employment with 13.1 billion pesos for programs to help workers displaced by the pandemic. The Department of Agriculture follows with 12.03 billion pesos for its stimulus package. Around 9.5 billion pesos went to the Department of Transportation for interventions for the transport industry, while the Department of Finance got 8.08 billion pesos for the implementation of the COVID-19 assistance to restart enterprises program and other lending and subsidy programs. The Department of Social Welfare and Development received 6 billion pesos for its COVID-19 response and recovery interventions, while the Department of the Interior and Local Government acquired 2.52 billion pesos for the hiring and training of contact workers. The Department of National Defense Office of Civil Defense received 855.1 million pesos for the operating requirements of COVID-19 facilities, while 820 million pesos went to the Department of Foreign Affairs to augment its assistance to Filipinos overseas. Around 180 million pesos was given to the Philippine Sports Commission for the allowances of athletes and coaches, while the Department of Trade and Industry secured 100 million pesos for the Balik Probinsya program. The DOLE Professional Regulation Commission received 2.5 million to implement the computer-based licensure examination. President Duterte earlier gave the Department of Budget and Management the authority to approve fund releases from the Bayanihan 2 law. As the government gives a go signal for public utility jeepneys to resume its operations, A top police official in Central Visayas says a further study might be necessary. According to Police Regional Office 7 Chief Brigadier General Albert Ignacio Spero, allowing traditional public utility jeepneys to return to the streets might pose a health risk to the public. Cebu City Mayor Edgardo Rabella earlier signed an executive order reopening 18 routes for some 1,355 jeepneys. Labella has established the Balik Pasada program in line with the recommendations of the Cebu City Jeepney Task Force. For Fero, safety and health measures need to be in place before allowing jeepneys to operate again. Cebu City remains under modified general community quarantine, but the police still conducts quarantine checkpoints. Still to come, a former child warrior who was raped by NPA leaders asked Liza Soberano and Angel Locsin for help. And the Department of Agriculture is buying palay at a higher price. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. A former New People's Army member slammed what he called the group's hypocrisy, claiming that it invokes the International Humanitarian Law or IHL when it is convenient for them. During Tuesday's Senate hearing on red tagging, former NPA cadre turned government security consultant Jeffrey K. Celis accused the CPP, NPA, NDF of storing bullets and weapons in the houses of the masses. He added that they do not use the term improvised explosive device for the landmines they have, as it is prohibited under the Geneva Convention, and instead use the term command-detonated explosives. He said the NPA recruits children as young as 7 to 10 years of age to join their armed struggle. He reiterated that recruitment to the CPP, NPA, NDF goes through open organizational fronts. He also confirmed incidents of sexual abuse of recruits, but the offense is penalized with execution except when the offender is an influential official. Communist terrorist groups collect up to 300 million pesos annually through extortion from telecommunication companies in the country. Former New People's Army cadre Jeffrey K. Celis said the CPP, NPA, NDF employs a mafia-style single extortion machinery that can make Smart and Globe pay as much as 200 to 300 million pesos. During Tuesday's Senate hearing on red tagging, Celis said, aside from Telcos, he added that the NPA can also make AAA contractors pay protection money. The payments were made through bank remittances transacted outside the Philippines and coursed through conduit non-government organizations from Belgium and the Netherlands. In the same hearing, Senate President Vicente Soto said the extortion activities by communist groups could be the reason why telco firms prefer to put up cell sites in military installations. Senator Panfilo Lacson said the extortion activities are an open secret in the country, with local communist terror groups collecting 2% of a contract cost. A former child warrior of the CPP-NPA appealed to celebrities Liza Soberano and Angel Locsin to assist her with the rape charges she filed against the terrorist group. 17-year-old Shane from Hilongos, Leyte, urged them to use their influence in informing the youth about the recruitment schemes employed by the NPA. Shane said the intelligence and vast influence of celebrities like Soberano and Locsin should not be wasted in supporting the wrong groups and instead use them to help women like her. She raised the same call to Kabataan Representative Sara Elago as well as Gabriela, who all claim to fight for women's and children's rights. Shane filed on October 29 a rape complaint against their former commander Paterno Opo alias Dodong before the prosecutor's office. She said she suffered in the hands of their supposed superior when she was only 15 years old in the mountains of Calubian, Leyte in July 2018. Former rebels in Agusan del Norte now have a home to live with their family. Details from Jennifer Gaetano.
Alias Chris, a former rebel from Agusan del Norte, was delighted as she received the good news that she and her family now have a permanent place of dwelling.
Sa among pag-surrender, daghan ang amuang mga dawat nga mga suporta. Dako kayo na akong kalipay. Tungod kay sa ako mismo, na sinatin ako ang kabuutan o pamaayos sa gobyerno.
Chris was one of the 100 former rebels in the province who benefited from the housing program of the government, wherein these houses will be built in a 1.4 hectares of land donated by a private company. According to the local government, the construction of the houses, which is worth almost $500,000 per house, will immediately start. This lot is located in Barangay Del Pilar, Cabadbaran City.
Kinasingkasing nako nga nawaton uban sa dakong kalipay ang donasyon nga 1.4 hectares gikan sa SRMI para matukuran o mga panimalay sa atong mga kaigsuonan ng mga MRs.
Agusan del Norte 2nd District Representative Maria Angelica Rose de la Mante Matba also called on to the former rebels to encourage other NPA members to leave the terrorist group and surrender to the government's fold.
Agrihan sila, ilang gibuwis ang ilang kinabuhi sa usa ka kalihukan nga wala gyoy lamdag nga kaugmaon.
These former NPA members have surrendered to the 29th and 23rd Infantry Battalions, both based in Agusan del Norte. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Jennifer Peña Gaetano of the Philippine Information Agency, Caraga.
Rice farmers in Nueva Ecija have thanked the government for its support that has enabled them to sell their harvest at a good price. This after the National Food Authority announced it is procuring palay with a maximum 14% moisture content and minimum purity of 96% at 19 pesos per kilo. The Bagong Buhay ng Mabini Multipurpose Cooperative from Santo Domingo, Nueva Ecija thanked the Department of Agriculture for helping them earn a decent income through a stepped-up rice procurement program. The cooperative claims they have sold 4,000 bags to the NFA since the harvest season began in October. As of November 3, NFA Nueva Ecija was able to procure 500,501 bags of rice with an average of 17,000 bags of daily procurement. The NFA is continually urging farmers in the province to sell their produce to the government. Economic recovery is generally on the right path despite the decline in Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index in October. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez explained that the slowdown in manufacturing activities last month reflects that the economy is still in the adjustment period. Lopez, however, said overall demand will still be subdued as compared to the pre-pandemic levels as some jobs are just starting to be recovered. He said not all consumers are back in the market despite the easing of restrictions. Lesser businesses have also reported closure, but some reduced the number of their employees. IHS Markit reported Tuesday that the country's PMI declined to 48.1 in October after signaling stability in September, as the manufacturing score was at 50.1. PMI is a monthly survey among businesses to measure the health of a sector. Up next, the Health Department says its processes remain amid the appointment of a vaccine czar. And PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar lauds Laguna for highest COVID-19 recovery rate. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
The Department of Tourism is optimistic the price cap on the COVID-19 test kits would further boost confidence to travel to the reopened destinations across the Philippines. In a statement, the DOT said the DOT anticipates an increase in domestic trips with a standard cost for RT-PCR and antigen tests, a requirement for entry to destinations around the country, and staycations within general community quarantine. President Rodrigo Duterte on Wednesday signed Executive Order 118 directing the Department of Health in coordination with the Department of Trade and Industry to ensure the accessibility and affordability of COVID-19 tests and test kits for all. This after Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat appealed to impose a price cap on the RT-PCR and antigen tests and to make testing more affordable to travelers. COVID-19 testing range from 1,750 pesos to 2,000 pesos. Policies on the testing, evaluation, and procurement of a potential vaccine against COVID-19 will not change despite the appointment of Presidential Peace Advisor Carlito Galvez as vaccine czar. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said the vaccine czar may add more expeditious processes to make work easier. The specific tasks Galvez would be handling include the purchasing, the negotiations, the manufacturing, the production, and distribution of the vaccines. She said the new vaccine czar will still work with DOH and the Departments of Science and Technology, Trade and Industry, Finance, Bureau of Investments, and other agencies. On Monday, President Rodrigo Duterte announced that he designated Galvez as vaccine czar to ensure that the Philippines has access to a potential vaccine once available. The DOH expressed its support on the appointment of Galvez as the vaccine czar. The mayor of Bacolod City has thanked President Duterte and various government officials for helping the LGU bring down the surge of COVID-19 cases in the country. More on this and other news from the provinces from Chris Mundo.
Bacolod City Mayor Evelio Leonardia has thanked President Rodrigo Duterte for immediately responding to the city's call for assistance at the height of the COVID-19 crisis here more than 2 months ago. He also thanked the team of Secretary Michael Lloyd Dino of the Office of the Presidential Assistant for the Visayas, Environment Secretary Roy Simatu, and DOH Central Visayas, as well as IATF Visayas Chief Implementer Melquiades Feliciano and his nurse wife Mia, and Senator Bongo for helping bring down the surge of cases in Bacolod. He added that the visit of Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Chief Implementer of the National Policy Against COVID-19, and his team also signified to the people of Bacolod the concern of the President and of the National IATF. In August, the mayor sought immediate help from Malacanang as positive cases spiked at an alarming rate. Meanwhile, Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar lauded the development of the COVID-19 situation in Laguna, as the local government unit recorded the highest recovery rate at 91%. During the Pagdalaw sa Laguna, Explain conference on Wednesday, Andanar cited the need to show how well Laguna handled the COVID-19 cases. He said Laguna's accomplishment would serve as symbol of hope and good examples that can be emulated by other provinces. As of November 3, Laguna has nearly 14,000 recoveries and has only 1,063 active cases of COVID-19 with 312 deaths. In Tarlac, the municipality of Capas on Wednesday imposed stricter measures to curb the rising cases of COVID-19. Based on the report of the Tarlac COVID-19 Task Force, 14 out of the 22 new confirmed cases came from Capas. Mayor Reynaldo Katakutan said part of the new measures is the reimposition of liquor ban in Barangay Talaga, which was placed under localized community quarantine on Tuesday. He also ordered tightened measures ensuring public compliance with health protocols. Tarlac reported a total of 828 confirmed cases, 253 of which are active, with 542 recoveries and 33 deaths. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
The 20-hectare agricultural tourism farm at Barangay Karusukan Sur in Asingan Town has been reopened to Pangasinan residents. The AGRI-TOURISM site can accommodate 500 to 1,000 tourists daily after the capacity has been reduced to 50% based on quarantine guidelines. Tourists may enjoy sightseeing hundreds or even thousands of planted flowers in 10 different varieties, as well as different kinds of fruit-bearing trees and vegetables. The area also accommodates prenuptial photo shoots or picnics for families. The local government opted to reopen the farm owned by the Sapigao family to help boost economic activities in the area. Meanwhile, the provincial government of Samar is set to open 4 of its major tourist destinations after months of community quarantine status. These tourist destinations are Ulot Extreme Torpedo Boat Ride and the Paranas Eco Trail in Paranas Town, Lulugayan Falls in Calbiga, Sohoton Cave Natural Bridge and National Park in Basay, and the San Juan by the Bay in Santa Rita. The provincial government is planning to open these sites to tourists from within the region in the second week of November. In Eastern Visayas, local tourist destinations are only open for residents in their respective provinces. And here is the latest in our community billboard. The city government of Manila will resume the free installation of radio frequency identification stickers or RFID for Class 1 vehicles on November 14. Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso on Tuesday said the Easy Trip RFID stickers drive-through installation will resume at the Kartilya ng Katipunan beside the Manila City Hall. Those who will avail of the services must bring 200 pesos for the initial load of the RFID. Dumagoso also announced that all the drive-through and walk-in COVID-19 serology testing centers in Manila have been reopened since Tuesday, November 3. As of Wednesday, some 10,000 individuals have undergone free swab testing, while about 41,000 have undergone RT-PCR testing in Manila's 6 district hospitals. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. Northern Luzon is up in alert for the coming of Siony. Telecommunication services have already been restored in Catanduanes and other typhoon-hit areas. Roads to Albay and Camarines Sur are already passable. And a former child warrior who was raped by NPA leaders asked Liza Soberano and Angel Oxin for help. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day and stay safe, everyone.